the stars are brightly shining.
Well, good morning. Today is Saturday, December 7th. It's December 7th. And we have a birthday. Today is Diane Dravitsky's birthday. No N in it. I always say Dravinsky, but it's Dravitsky. Draviski. And today's her birthday, so we're going to sing to her. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Diane. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. We're kind of doing this in a different order because on the way to the meeting, I forgot to hit record. I thought I hit record and I was babbling on and looking at myself and that, and it just, it didn't record. But anyway, happy birthday, Diane. Hope you have a good birthday. She needs some prayers to give her some confidence in having her, she's having gallbladder surgery. So, if you could pray for her, I'm sure she would appreciate it. Anyway, it reminds me of one of the best gifts I ever got, but I didn't really think it was a good gift at the time, is my little backstory. My sister-in-law works at a assisted living and a rehab and a nursing home all combined into the same thing, and so she kind of knew how to deal with this. But my one Christmas I had gotten my godson which I forget even what it was. I thought he'd really love it, and he didn't like it, and he didn't even thank me for it. So his mother says, well, what do you say to your Aunt Sandy for giving you such a nice gift? And he went and looked at him and he goes, thanks a lot. So, I mean, he was saying thanks, but it was in telling you that you didn't really like it. And so when you got a gift that you didn't really like, now with my brother and my sisters, we don't do it with the kids, but with my brother and my sister, we always go, thanks a lot, because it's not really something that we really wanted in the first place. But anyway, so she gives me this pillow, and I'm thinking, why? You know, like most people when they go visit somebody in the hospital, they give you like, I don't know, they give you candy or flowers or something, but they don't give you a pillow. It was like a decorative pillow. It was about that big, and I thought, what are you giving me this pillow for? This is kind of silly giving me a pillow. And she said, well, you know, like after you have your surgery, what you want to do is when you're getting up and out of a chair or sitting up or sitting down, you hold the pillow to your stomach, and it keeps you from feeling so much, you know, because it puts pressure on you when the muscles in your stomach and that, or your abdomen, and it kind of relieves the pressure on the abdomen. And I have to tell you, it was the best gift I ever got, because I use that faithfully. And so anytime I know anybody's going to have any kind of abdominal surgery, I always tell them, get a pillow, because it really does work. But the way I found out about it was my mother and I had gone to have pancakes at the original pancake house in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Oh, they make the best pancakes. And I had ordered some pecan, whatever you want to call them, pancakes. And I had that, and I had sausage patties and a chocolate milk. Obviously, I wasn't on Weight Watchers back then. And I had loads of butter and loads of syrup. And we went to visit my brother and my sister-in-law and the kids after breakfast, and I thought I was having a heart attack. And my mother was like a nervous wreck trying to keep me calm, and so she told my brother Pat to drive. And so we sat in the back seat, and my brother drove the speed limit because he was not in any hurry to get me to the hospital. And I was getting so upset because I really thought I was having a heart attack. And I kept saying, Pat, drive a little faster, drive a little faster. And that was not when we had don't mess with my discount back then. And it was like, you know, whatever. And it was because my brother had a warrant out for his arrest for something, because my brother was an alcoholic. So I'm sure something drinking related, and he didn't want to get pulled over. So that's why we had to drive so slow. And then when we got there, they really did think I was having a heart attack. And so they had put me in a special little section, and it was determined that it was a gallbladder attack. So they said, well, I said, well, I have to be home by the 18th of April because it's my son's 16th birthday. And they go, oh yeah, you know, you'll be fine. Back then, when you had surgery, they didn't put you in and out like an In-N-Out burger. You stayed a couple days. So they said, no, we'll do the surgery later on tonight. And I said, oh, okay. Well, then they put me in a room. And I said, why am I in a regular room? Why wouldn't I have had the surgery first? And she said, well, there was a major accident, and they're using all of the operating rooms for emergency surgeries. And so yours is a elective surgery because you're not in any kind of, danger of dying. So you're going to have your surgery in the morning. So I said, okay. So then I had done that, and I was in the hospital for my Danny's 16th birthday. So we have pictures of me with him. So anyway, that's not the Christmas story. I'll come up with a Christmas story later on today. But it was an experience. Back then when you went to the hospital, it's not like it is now. Before if you visited with somebody, you had to get a pass. You could only have like 2 people at a time, and you had to have the pass. And we used to sneak the passes. Like 2 people would go up, and then 1 person would come back, turn in the 2 passes, then 2 more people would go up, and so that the room was full. But we weren't the only ones that did it. Everybody did it. And then another thing too is when I had Jimmy in 1972, I stayed in the hospital for 5 days. And then when I had Danny in 77, I was in the hospital for 4 days. And when I had Christy in 81, I was in there for 3 days. Now you have the baby in the morning and you go home that night. It's like, geez, I know that they do everything different. And I think a lot of it is just the cost of stuff. But I don't know. Just kind of think of, how could cost have gone up that much? But I did talk about wanting to lose at least 2 pounds before on my way to the weigh-in. And as you can see, oh, nope, I'm not going to tell you. I did do well though. But I'm not going to tell you how well. I did better than my 2 pounds. So I was very happy. But I was talking about, you have to have determinations. I am not known for my patience at all. I have no patience. But one thing I do have is determination. And when I can't succeed at something, I work that much harder to succeed, because I really do find that I appreciate the victory that much more, knowing that it didn't come easy to me, because this weight loss thing is not coming easy to me. It's getting easier, and I am learning my triggers, and I'm learning where I'm going wrong. I'm learning all my little faults. So in that sense, this is really, my determination is paying off. But you can have the best skills in the world, but if you don't have the determination to use those skills to your advantage, you're not going to succeed. And I am determined to succeed. So I am going to figure out a way. This mount is one of the things I'm determined to figure out. Why. And sometimes I can film in it and it's fine, and then other times when I film in it, it rattles, it makes too much noise. But I'm determined to figure out what the heck's going on with it, because I've tried everything at this point. And I do appreciate the mount that Ange gave me that sits in the cup holder, but it's just like it's a really weird angle or something. I don't know. I don't really. But I'm determined. I'm telling you, one thing I am is determined. So, okay, we are at Kroger's now. But I will show you my weigh-in now and see how I did. Spoiler alert, I did very well. Well, I told you earlier that all I was hoping for was 2 pounds. 2 pounds is all I really wanted. I was just going to be so happy. Just as a reminder, not that I have to, but I have to keep saying it out loud so that I realize how poorly I did after Thanksgiving. I gained 6.9 pounds last week. And I gained 2.2 for the whole month of November. So that put me, no, wait a minute. I was 8.8 altogether. I gained 1.9 rather for the month of November. And I gained 6.9 last week. So I had 8.8 pounds I have to lose before the new year, because I want to start off the new year right. And so I really stuck to my plan this week, and I lost 5.2. So now I'm back at 226.7. Look at that. I'm so happy. And I put celebrate, but not too much, because and I have a little balloon, and I got my little snowman because I love snowmen. And this is going to be another good week for me, because that just shocked me back into reality. I can't be doing that anymore. No, I can't. So, I have to go to the store to get some stuff for Kylie's party. I told Denise I'd stop at Kroger's and pick up the stuff for her after I got out of the meeting. And then I have to go to the store get a birthday card, and I got a busy day, busy day, but I'm going to stay on track. I'm going to stay on plan, and we talked about 0 Point foods, so I plan on having a 0 Point breakfast so I can enjoy the nacho bar at Kylie's birthday party. So I'm very happy, very, very happy.
To you, cha-cha-cha.
Whoa!
That's hard to do.
Hey.
Let me just get a couple pictures going around.
Mine's 61. You put your hand off to me.
Get you close up.
Hey.
Little mouse.
Those are Lauren Conrad.
Lauren Conrad. That's somebody.
Oh, what's up?
Here, Sandy's taking a picture.
If you
Get some earrings.
should.
Well, I did do a holiday tour of Denise's house. I'm going to put that up tomorrow so you can see it. She's got her house decorated really cute. My mother always tried to make Christmas really special, and so our house was always decorated. And if I go to my brother Michael's house, I'll show you his house too. Mary doesn't decorate as much, but we tend to go overboard. We really do. I put a couple clips in there of Kylie's birthday. Like I said, she's not going to be 16 until the 22nd, but I had got her a snow globe with Snoopy characters inside that played the Snoopy theme. And then Molly had got her some earrings. Mary's waiting until her actual birthday to give her a present. Denise bought her a little fiber optic Christmas tree for her bedroom. She's going to get something else on her actual birthday, but I mean, just to open today. And then she got a couple Target gift cards, and then she got some cashola. And then what else did she get? Forget what she got. She got a bunch. Oh, Denise, Mary, Michael, and I had bought her birthstone ring. It was really pretty. It was a gold heart-shaped ring with her birthstone, which I don't know what it is. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but it was blue, which is her favorite color. And so we got her that. And it was a good time. I ate a little bit too much from the nacho bar. And I used my weeklies for it, and I have no guilt because I'm going to be really keeping on plan because that was really nice seeing a 5.2 loss today. I don't want to ever see a 6.9 gain again. But what I also did was I filmed everybody with their favorite Christmas memory. So every day for the next 10 or 11 days, I guess, starting on Monday. I'm going to start it on Monday. I'm going to tell you a Christmas memory of my own, and then I'm going to share someone in my family's Christmas memory, how they saw the holiday. So I might even try to get Jim on there. This will be like pulling teeth to get Jim on there, but I will try. And then tomorrow when I go to Birdie's, because we're doing Jim's Christmas, his family for Christmas tomorrow, I'll try to get a couple people on there. They're pretty shy, but we'll see. You know. So the Christmas story I'm going to share only because Jimmy brought it up. Diana Antu on one of the comments had said she remembered my Christmas story about Jimmy, and I'm sure all of the people that have been with me since the beginning have heard this story before. But for my new subscribers who haven't heard this story, Jimmy was probably maybe 10, about 10 or 11, and Danny at the time would have been 5 or 6, and Jimmy was just being really kind of belligerent that year. I don't know what it was. He was like, I could think he was mad because he finally figured out that there was no Santa Claus, but there really is. But Jimmy in his mind said that there was no Santa Claus, but we all know that there is a Santa Claus. But Jimmy was convinced that there was no Santa Claus, and so when we were getting all the stuff out for Santa Claus to eat, you know, and for the reindeer, because we always fed the reindeer. I mean, they had a long haul that night, and they had a lot of weight to pull along, so they needed some nourishment. So we always left them, the reindeers, we always left them a potato, which is sad because there was 9 reindeers and they had to share 1 potato. And then we had a couple carrots and a couple celery. I don't know that they probably would have liked some straw or hay or something. I don't know. And then we always left a cannoli and a bottle of Budweiser for Santa Claus. I know, an odd combo, but my kids just knew that Santa Claus didn't want to drink milk at every single house he went to, that somewhere along the line, and back then they didn't say don't drink and drive. That was, you know, Andy Griffith celebrated Otis the Drunk. So, I mean, it was a whole different time, let me tell you. But anyway, so this one particular Christmas, we were getting everything all ready and Jimmy wasn't having anything of it, anything to do with it. And Danny was all excited. He was all getting everything all ready and putting everything. Christy was just a little bit too little to know, but she was like following what her big brothers were doing. And Jimmy kept saying, well, you know, there's no such thing as Santa Claus. And then Danny goes, well, yeah, there is. We saw him at the mall. And he goes, that's just a man dressed up like Santa Claus. And Danny was getting really kind of hurt. And so he asked me, and he said, is Santa Claus real, or is he just made up like Jimmy said? And I go, Santa Claus always comes to those who believe. And if you don't believe, then Santa Claus doesn't feel that he needs to stop and bring you anything. But if you do believe, you will get something. And Danny says, well, I do believe. And he said, well, and I said, well, then you will definitely get something for Christmas. And then Jimmy says, it's ridiculous. Mom and Dad are just going to pull out the presents and they're going to put them under the tree. And I go, I don't know where you think that that's going to happen, because I don't have that kind of money to bring that many presents that you guys get under the tree. There's just no way. So as they're going up to bed, because they slept on we had a bungalow, so you went up the stairs to go to the second floor. It wasn't like a real second floor. It was just a one big bedroom. I don't know if bungalows are the same everywhere. No, Cape Cod's, because I lived in a Cape Cod and it had 2 separate bedrooms upstairs. But it's like you went up the staircase, which was usually behind a closed door, almost like the attic, almost like an attic. But and so they went up to go to bed. And as they were going up the steps, I heard Jimmy say to Danny, you know, you watch and see, because tomorrow morning I'm going to get just as many presents. And I'm saying right out loud, and he said it out loud, I do not believe in Santa Claus. And he said, see, Dan, and you wait to see in the morning what's going to happen. So in the morning, I really do think that Santa Claus did hear Jimmy, because in the morning when we all got up to open our gifts, and Danny was under the tree handing them out, there wasn't not one gift under that tree for Jimmy. Not one. And he kept looking and looking, and he kept thinking, are you sure that was yours? And he'd look at the name tag, and he'd look at the tag. And so we separated them all, and everybody had their pile of presents, because that's how we did it. Santa Claus always put them under the tree in any kind of way, shape, or form. And then one person would take them out and put them in you'd hand them out and put them in your piles. And then once you had your piles and everything was out from under the tree, then you would go to town and open your gifts. And Jimmy didn't have not one present in front of him. And Danny says, well, where are your presents, Jimmy? And Jim said, well, like we told you last night, Danny, that Santa Claus only comes to those who believe. And Danny, as he's opening his gifts, he says, I'm so glad I believe. I'm so glad I believe. And then Jimmy just sat there devastated. And we opened up all of our gifts, and we were all looking at the gifts, and Danny and Christy started playing with their stuff, and Jimmy started to cry. He was 11, but he still started to cry. And then Danny felt so bad, and he said, well, Jimmy, why don't you take some of mine? The thing about Danny when he was growing up, it was like if he wanted to share a candy bar, he would break the candy bar in half. And he would measure them like all kids do. He would always measure them to see which was the bigger piece. But then he would always give the bigger piece to the other person. Always, without fail. Can't say that he does that now. But when he was growing up, he always did that without fail. And so he had told Jimmy, he said, you can have some of my presents, which obviously they were age appropriate for Danny, but they weren't really age appropriate for Jimmy. And then Jimmy was very nice about it, though, and he said, no, that's okay. I should have believed in Santa Claus. And then Danny said, well, maybe Santa was talking to the Easter Bunny, and maybe he hid your presents. And I said, Danny, I think that might be what happened. Why don't we go and look around the house and see if maybe one of the elves was just trying to teach Jimmy a lesson, and we're going to look for them. And so we looked and looked and looked, and then we did find them in the bathroom behind the shower curtain, because the shower curtain was closed, and there were all of Jimmy's presents. And then Danny says, I bet you believe now. So we always remember that, and so we never ever doubt that there is a real Santa Claus, because there really is, because Santa Claus comes to those who believe, and he only comes once a year, and you have to believe. You just have to believe. And I do believe. I do believe in Santa Claus, and I know he's real. But anyway, that's my memory for that. I am going to, Jim and I are watching the series on Amazon called Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton. I think it's season 4. Yeah, I think it's season 4. And we watched 3 or 4 episodes last night, so we're going to finish watching a couple more tonight. I'm going to sit in my darkness of all my lights. I just love it. And maybe one night I'll try to take a video of all my rooms lit up at night. It doesn't really show up on the video as well, but I'm going to try. So I will see you guys in the morning. Give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and share.